Hey guys, I'm Akash Patel, and today I would like to do a presentation on Cerner Incorporation. To give more information on Cerner, so Cerner is a major corporation here in Kansas City that focuses on EHR. It is currently part of Oracle at the moment. They got bought out around 2022 for a record-breaking amount, which I will discuss later. The company was founded in 1979 and it is headquartered here in Kansas City, Missouri. It was acquired by Oracle on June 2022 for $28.3 billion, which is the largest healthcare IT deal in the history. And it was a very complex deal, and it took many years to get the deal done due to several trade laws and had to be approved by Congress and many major governmental organizations. And the global reach, it is a very large company, and it provides services to over 27,000 healthcare facilities in over 35 countries. So what is their core business? So they are an EHR company, which focuses on electronic health records, and they support inpatient, outpatient, and many specialty cares, which I will talk a lot more in a little bit. And there are many features with it that are used by the system, which they have a CPOE system. They use e-prescribing for pharmacies, and they have a ton of patient charting services as well. So there are several core business areas, and there are several key business areas that the company focuses on. And they have one of the major key business areas is the population health management, and they use a platform called the Health Intent platform, which is used for population health management. They use integrated billing and financial tools for several revenue cycle managements that are used um, by their customers, and they have several portals, telehealth, mobile access for the patients, and which is very beneficial for them because they provide faster healthcare for patients. And they use a lot of performance healthcare and performance analytics. They have performance dashboards and predictive modeling services as well. And they have a ton of interoperability. They have a FHIR, which is really good for allowing information to be transferred between multiple organizations and different physicians. The HL7 is one of their biggest strong suits for allowing more of that on-time second to second care. So, for instance, if there's a patient at one hospital and their primary care doctor is in another hospital, within seconds they will get updated information regarding their patients. And they have HIEs for several system integrations. So they also have several supporting solutions and services. They have consulting and they have many managed services, and they provide services such as hosting, implementation, and optimization for healthcare organizations. They have a strong pharmacy and lab integration software which allows faster order entry, and medication management. And they have several compliance tools such as MIPS, ACO, and quality reporting services. And to give a little bit again of an overview, they were acquired by Oracle in 2022, and they are what signifies Cerner as one of the leaders of the EHR businesses, that they focus on more cloud-based EHR infrastructures. And that was kind of the reason why Oracle bought them out, because Oracle excels in cloud-based computing, and Cerner did had a large services, and so the merger allowed them to easily integrate that cloud-based EHR infrastructures, and that's going to be the modern solution to and the modern trend for EHRs in the future. And they focus a lot more on scalable, interoperable platforms and supporting value-based care for patients. So to give a little bit overview on their financials, they came out with their fiscal year financials back in May of 2025, and they were at a $57.4 billion annual revenue, which is about 6% higher from 2023. I believe last year they were around 52 billion, so they made a bit of a profit of about 5 billion. They had a $5 billion increase in their revenue. Their net income was 15.7 billion. So Cerner is still contributing money to Oracle from the company directly, and they contributed about 5.9 billion in 2023 and 5.6 billion in 2024. So from a stability rating, they are a BBB, triple B investment grade, which is kind of moderate. It's not the strongest, but it's not the worst. Usually A is what they want to excel for, but triple B is good enough. And most EHR companies, they're mainly in the B range due to the stability of them. And there was a lot of segmental growth in the company. For instance, the Oracle cloud infrastructure grew by 12% in the last 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, and their cloud and license support business grew about 44 billion, which is 12% higher than in 2024. So let me give you a quick overview on the history of Cerner. It's been for over 40 years in the EHR development. It is a millennial platform and is widely used by many US hospitals since the early 2000s. For me, for instance, I have used Cerner. I've been a customer for them when I worked my job as a phlebotomist, and I've used their service, and I've had a decent experience for sure. So I can definitely speak upon that as well. And since the post-Oracle integration, that has led to more cloud migrations, and there's more AI features on the EHR system, and there's improved UI and automation, which is increasing the performance for the EHR. So what is the Cerner product? It's a very big product. So it's built on the Cerner Millennium architecture, which has been used for almost since I believe 20 to a little bit before 2010, but I'm not 100% sure on that. They have a unified clinical, financial, and operational modules. They have over 50 specialty modules, which they have cardiology, for instance, oncology, pediatrics, behavioral health, and emergency medicine. They have modules for those specific services. And they're easily able to integrate the modules and send information easily between both of them, which I'll explain a little bit later. And they have a connected ecosystem, and they seamlessly integrate with lab, pharmacy, imaging, and billing, which makes the product very simple to use and does not cause that many delays for major companies. So, where is the product supported? So, in an inpatient setting, they are used in ADTs, they are used in clinical documentation, they use CPOEs and medication administrations and care plans. For the ambulatory systems, the product is supported in using and is used for scheduling e-prescribing, so just electronic prescribing for medications, soap notes, documentations, and chronic care. And other ancillary facilities, they have radiology, laboratory, pharmacy, emergency department, which they have a first net, rehab, and many other organizations. So basically, the product is used in all kinds of healthcare scenarios and different types of clinics. And they enable coordinated care across settings within the integrated delivery networks. And that integrated delivery networks makes it much easier for information to transfer between different departments, different clinics within one healthcare organization, and also between multiple different healthcare organizations. So they do have a mobile app. I have an example of a picture of how the mobile app kind of looks, and it's called Power Chart Touch, and it's a mobile EHR app for the clinicians. It's on iOS and Android. You can easily view patient charts, place orders, and documents on the go, and they support dictation and mobile CPOEs. And there's Health to Life, which is the patient portal, and it's an app for scheduling messages, lab results, and visit summaries for patients. And the mobile enhances continuity of the care and provider satisfaction. And they've been doing several updates to their apps to help enhance performance for the company and the application. So, where can you use Epic? So, you can use them on Chrome, Edge, and Firefox on desktop. You can use it on Windows. It's fully usable. On Mac OS, it gets a little bit tricky. It's limited support via the web browser, or you can use it on Citrix. And then on Linux, it's not used at the moment. But for mobiles, you can easily use it on iOS and Android apps for both the clinicians and the patients, which I described earlier. So here are some examples of some of the modules that they have. So for the Power Chart, it is used for many physicians and nurses. That's just the name of the platform. For FirstNet, it is used within emergency departments. For PathNet, it is for lab information systems, and it's used a lot by pathologists and lab technicians, clinical lab scientists, and etc. They have FarmNet, which is used by pharmacists. They have RadNet, which is used by radiologists. And they have CareAware, which is a medical device integration. And they use Health Intent, which is for the population health platform, which I described earlier. And these modules can coexist with each other pretty easily. So what is the clinical flow features? So they have smart templates and macros already embedded within software. It's just up to the nurse and the department to create their own different macros. They can even easily adjust it. Like for instance, I use several macros when I use Cerner's to help make it easier for me to put patients' lab data. And if I need to scan a document or whatever, they have embedded clinical decision support, which helps with the clinicians making a decision based on information. They have real-time alerts, flags, and best practice advisories, which is very beneficial for providers and nurses. And they have nurse charting, MARs, and interdisciplinary documentation, which is very beneficial for doctors to easily communicate with nurses and nurses to easily communicate with admin and other different vendors and employees, and they have downtime, the workflows, and auto synchronization upon the recovery. So, what is the security? So, they are very HIPAA compliant. There's not been any major cybersecurity issues, and they've always been following the HIPAA. They have the ON, they got recently certified by ONC. They have many role-based access control. They have audit trails for audit accountability, which is very important because it makes sure that the product is always staying in touch, is always working, and make sure that there's no major issues happening. And they have encrypted data at the rest in transit via the Oracle Cloud. And the Oracle Cloud is a very strong platform, and using the Cerner EHR within that Oracle Cloud has been very strong, and there's not been any major data leaks in the last 2 to 3 years. So what is the interoperability standard? So they use HL7, which allows the communication between different physicians within organizations and um within like physicians and providers, and it provides that up to date, up to minute, and up to second communications so that doctors and nurses can easily get information within seconds. They have an FHIR, which is very beneficial for just the communication between different clinics. They have the continuity of care. So, for instance, if a patient is discharged and they're sent to another facility, that all that information is easily sent, and they have direct messaging. So you can directly message between different employees within the system, and you can also directly message with other. For instance, if you're transferring a patient from HCA to Advent, you can easily communicate. If Advent uses um, Cerner, for instance, they can easily directly message between nurses, between both facilities or doctors and whatnot. They have a care equality, but they're a care equality participant, which enables that easy EHR data exchange with Epic, Meditech, and Allscripts, which that is very important because it allows patient information to be sent easily to other organizations that are not part of the Cerner network. And I mean, I've experienced that too, and it was pretty seamless experience based on my experience working in the emergency department, and is connected to e-prescribing, health, and HIEs. So what is the cost in the implementations? So based on it just depends on the number of users, the modules, and the hosting model. So if you're part of a major healthcare system, you're going to be estimated around $100 million plus for implementing, and the cost for the service, but on the minimum end, if it's like for a smaller facility hospital, it was going to be closer to $20 million. And then it is almost about $1 million, more than $1 million on average annually for its maintenance. And you get a lot of services out of that too. And to implement Cerner, it is about 6 to 18 months typically. And they have in that part of that service includes the data migration, configuration, validation, and live support for employees and patients. And there's an ongoing support, which is called the tiered SLAs and Oracle Global Support. So that provides that 24 hours, 7 days a week support in case some kind of problem happens. And that tiered SLA, it's kind of like a leveling branch. Think of it as like a pyramid. And that just it allows the communication to seamlessly travel. If there, for instance, you have a major problem, but one employee on the Oracle side cannot do that, that issue can be easily handled by multiple different departments and organizations and leaders within the organization, which is makes it very seamless and very cost effective, and the supply chain on that is very simplified. So who are some of their major clients? So some of their biggest client is the Department of Defense, which they use the MHS Genesis, Baylor Scott and White, which is very, very big system in around the state of Texas, and they have many hospitals with over hundreds, even sometimes close to thousands of beds, and Advent Health is a big customer for them. And it's used in academic medical centers, IDNs, and rural hospitals. And there's been mixed usability reviews, which I will talk a little bit more later. So their market share, they account for, of all the EHR products, they account for 22.9%, which is a little bit lower compared to what it was in 2020 with the 25%. And there's a couple reasons why behind that, but it's still number two, number one being Epic. And they lost 74 hospitals in 2024, and the Cerner system supports 26% of US inpatient hospitals. So what is the ambulatory market share? So for in the ambulatory market, they have 25%. They're mainly used in outpatient departments, and it is works with eClinic Works, Aetna Health, NextGen, in smaller private practice markets. So what are some of the strengths for Oracle for Cerner? So they have a deep clinical specialization in enterprise grade tools, which is very beneficial, and it's a very detailed system. And it is a complex system, but it is very meticulous, and it provides doctors so many ranges of services, and it just helps simplify the experience with the EHR. They're very easy to scale for complex multi-hospital systems such as Advent and Baylor Scott because there's so many different hospitals with that. And being able to scale for that is very integral because they're always continuously increasing and they're just buying out different practices. And there's strong interoperability with Commonwealth and Carry Quality, which I've talked already. They have a population health tool with the health intent and data intelligence, which is kind of rare because I don't Epic kind of has something like that, but it is not as big as Cerner's. And they have future ready cloud and they use AI under the Oracle investment, which is one of the rare features. And Oracle already has a strong AI and computing power and just easily integrating that Cerner was pretty seamless process, while many other EHR companies right now are in the process of implementing that. But Cerner already's been specializing and working on that for since the merger in 2022. So here are some weaknesses. It is a complex interface. There is a steep learning curve. Like with my experience, it was pretty complicated using it at first, and it took me a couple months personally. But after learning about it, I thought it was an interesting tool. It was beneficial, and I did not have that many major problems with it. They have it's a long, costly implementation, and it costs millions in capital expenditures for hospitals and the company. Just because of how complex it is, with that 6 to 18 months, it just takes a long time for that. The Mac and Linux users need to use Citrix for full access, and that kind of hurts for some healthcare organizations because most healthcare organizations, some of them use Mac services. Some doctors prefer to use Mac, and just it's kind of hard to integrate the EHR into that, and that just kind of affects productivity a bit and just kind of creates a little bit of a headache sometimes. There's mixed customer supporting ratings, but the company is kind of focusing on fixing that eventually. It's just because they're still trying to integrate that cloud, and they just merged about 2.5 years ago. There's still just some work. They're kind of working on that a bit. And then there's losing ground to Epic in US hospital markets, which makes sense because Epic has 42% while Cerner has 27%. So here are some final thoughts that I have regarding Cerner. So Cerner is one of the top tier EHR vendors still with a strong foundation in inpatient, ambulatory, and population health systems. They use the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, which is nearly complete, and it sets the stage for improved margins and scalability, making it easier for Cerner to easily increase its operations within healthcare. Different healthcare organizations seamlessly. And Oracle is already integrating the AI tools and to improve usability in clinical workflow, which is very important right now because AI is kind of taking over healthcare right now and is playing a big role in decisions there. And while the current financial contributions modest, Oracle is forecast Cerner to become their biggest growth driver in 2025 and above, which is pretty significant if Cerner is being because Oracle's already a big company, but if I think what they're doing now is just trying to incorporate Cerner more into their business model. Here's my works cited page, and thank you very much for watching my presentation.